Okay, so this is going to be the video on how to get your DAW software to interface with OBS so that you can quickly and easily make screen caps of what you're doing. I think this is a really good idea for everyone who can do it to do it when they're working on something cool. You probably see it on my Instagram all the time. You want to showcase a cool little mixing trick or a band you're working with. And it's just cool content. I get a lot of great feedback on when I do it. And it keeps people engaged and lets people, makes people really remember that you're still an active engineer, and that's really important. Plus, it's just fun to put stuff out there and then have conversations with people about it when you do so. So we're going to start by installing loopback. That will have been in the portal, so hopefully that's installed, and we're going to do loopback 2. Great. And we want to check a couple things. We want to make sure that nothing's muted and that yours looks a little bit like this. The pass-through is going to go through output channels 1 and 2 and monitoring on 1 and 2 as well. You can adjust your output levels here. One problem I had was that this was not dropped down, and it wasn't working for me. I was getting really frustrated, and it turns out I just had to drop it down and unmute. It's always something simple like that. Then you're going to open up your DAW of choice, mine being Cubase, and we'll take a second to do that right now. And essentially, once we're in Cubase, we're going to want to, are you actually loading? I think you are. Once we're in Cubase, we are going to want to set this as our driver. So boom, loopback audio, switch, I guess it's essentially keeping it, but you're going to want loopback to be your ASIO driver. That's very important, because if loopback's your ASIO driver, now you can send your audio to it, and then from it you can send it to OBS. So if I can just do recent projects, I think I had a little something up here. A bunch of plugins I don't have installed on this computer, typically on a PC. Okay, so if I hit play, great. You should see that if I go to loopback, where are you now? It's always something. And I hit play. John in a flash case, now no one is ready for the idea. Okay, so that looks healthy. That's what we want to see. I already have OBS opened up, but this is your open broadcasting software. I think that's what it stands for. And because I'm recording right now, this is some of what I'm showing you has already taken place, but essentially you want to open up OBS and you want to set 3 different sources, maybe just 2. So you're going to need your display capture. You add sources that you would like to capture here, down under sources. You say, hey, plus add display capture. You're going to pick your monitor. For your loopback, or to get the audio from your DAW to OBS, I named it loopback, but you're going to say audio input capture. You would call it, we'll call this test for the video. Cool. Okay. And it's going to ask you, where do you want that to come from? Again, you're going to want that to come from loopback. I'll cancel this one and delete it. And then in this instance, I've put a third source in. That's how you're hearing my voice. That is the large diaphragm condenser, this microphone that I'm using to talk to you guys. So get those sources set up and then test it. You'll know loopback is working if when you hit play and you go back to OBS, John in a flash case, now no one is ready for the idea. No. That's awesome. So you can see you have a little mixer down here, and you can adjust the level of your voice versus the level of your playback. Usually for my posts, I don't talk over them. I'm really only talking over this one to explain it. So normally this is the only one that's active, and I'll just do something cool. Now, since, let's say normal Instagram is, 15 seconds per story. So let's say you wanted to show off a 15-second EQ move. Something I would do is set myself away from a downbeat or somewhere where I want to start it. Something musical that people, they don't feel like they're jumping into the middle of just a super weird spot. So you'd want to find whatever that might be. And then you're probably thinking, well, how do I send this? How do I start recording this without having to, have this overlay on top first? And then also you've probably noticed that I have my logo on top of all my videos. I think branding is really important, not to be cheesy or overdo it, but tasteful branding to let people know, sort of give like a visual identity to your work. So we'll hit add image. We're going to add our logo here. We'll call this logo. And you can have a couple different options too. You can have like logo big center. We'll call it that just to keep it organized. It's going to ask us for a file. I'm pretty sure I put my logo on the desktop. So let's go to the desktop and let's grab this. Boom. Hey, there we are. Okay. And I can put that right in the middle. And as you can see, like if this was out of the way, sort of this is what you're probably used to seeing on my Instagram. But sometimes there's what I'm showcasing is in the middle. So I'll turn that one off and we can do, say, image, and we'll say logo, little right corner, whatever. And those labels don't do anything other than just make it easy for you to stay organized. We can pick the same logo again, and we can drag this and resize it. Get it out of the way. It's still branded, and then you don't have to worry as much about it overlapping with what you're trying to showcase. So, lastly, now that your logo is set up and you want to showcase something, go into your settings, and there's a couple things we want to change. We want to make sure our video is, let's see here, I think it's recording. I use MP4. That's compatible with Instagram. I think it's set up as a different recording format when you start that. Make sure all your audio is maxed out at 320. I don't actually know if it's using all those channels or not, but I just basically max out my settings. 44.1. But down here in hotkeys, this is really important. The only two I really use are start recording and stop recording. I like Control-Shift-R for that. So I use the same one for both. So as you can see, I can't do it now because if I was to press that, I would stop this recording. But more or less, you want to go into your DAW. You want to say, hey, guys, you have to see this cool mid-range movement I'm doing. And you find a cool spot to start. Wait out, 15 seconds, kind of time it. And sometimes what I'll do is I'll make a 30-second clip and say, I'll start back here to give myself a little runway. And I can look at my timeline and know that, all right, I'm about to do 30 seconds of Instagram. So I'm like, boom, there's my first 15 seconds. There's my second 15 seconds. And I'll do like an A and B. So like the first one will be like, hey guys, like check out, let me just make a horribly ridiculous EQ curve here, right? Like something that's going to murder the mix. Great. And I'll say, hey, yeah, this is what the mix sounded like, whatever, when it came to me. And on the next 15 seconds, well, imagine this EQ curve was corrective and not destroyed everything, or vice versa, but basically showcase yourself in a good light. And after the hit play, and then after the 15 seconds is about up, you can bypass on what you did, and maybe even talk about it a little bit in the story. All of that information is going to get very easily recorded into your OBS. So right around, I would say just after the 30-second mark, just to be safe, you'll hit Control-Shift-R or whatever you program that hotkey to be again, and you will then find it up here, Show Recordings, Video. This is the video we're working on right now. I can't drag this in, but see this folder right here? I have a video that I drug in there previously. That folder is part of my Dropbox. For so many reasons as an audio engineer, hopefully you have the Dropbox app installed. You have it also installed on your phone. And the video that you have just finished will show up here. and boom, just drag it in there. It's going to sync in just a minute or less. And you can go into your phone, go into the Dropbox app, and I'll actually look at my phone right now and talk you through this. But you go into the Dropbox app, and I believe it's just the leftmost icon on the bottom is home. And if you pull down and refresh, you will see that your most recent Dropbox item, which is more than likely this file, is at the very top. You hit export, save video, and then you just post it to your Instagram. I recommend doing this if you can at least once a day, and try to make it fun and engaging, and don't bore people, but show off a little bit, you know? I mean, we're out here trying to make cool art and do cool things and learn new skills and show off the skills we have, because a lot of us are trying to take this more seriously or do this full time or see if there's an opportunity to do that. And a big part of that is not being afraid to let people know that you're the guy or girl and you do this sort of thing. So with that, I'm going to stop this video, upload it to all of you, and hopefully you enjoy it very much. And I definitely recommend you do this. And also I definitely recommend get yourself a nice logo if you can.